Good evening. This is Tom Turkey with the City of Marshfield, and this is the City of Marshfield Public Informational Meeting for the 2020 Mill and Place projects. We'll get started here. I'd like to introduce you to the Engineering Division staff. You have myself, Tim Cassidy, our Assistant City Engineer, Josh Morris, our Civil Engineer, James Purton, our another Civil Engineer, and then Lance Oldham and Sean Miller, who are our two technicians. For the street division, who will be doing the construction on this, we have Chris Hawley, our street superintendent, Kurt Bornbach, our assistant street superintendent, and Phil Schmidt is the other assistant street superintendent. For those who may have received mailings for the Ash Avenue project, the Ash Avenue project from Becker Road to Franklin Street was delayed until 2021. Those mailings should not have gone out with this last mailing for the public informational meeting, but you're more than welcome to stay on and listen to the information. A lot of it will be very similar for all the projects. Right now, the street division is working on North Hills Avenue and Wood Avenue. They have finished the ditching work on this project, and this weekend they are planning to have it shaped for paving, and the paving right now is scheduled for June 11th and 12th. With that being done, they're planning to move their crews to Fairview Drive and start on Fairview Drive on Wednesday, June 10th. And this is from Schmidt Avenue to the west. Following that project, they will move to the 4th Street, Larch to Mulberry Avenue, and then Mulberry Avenue 4th to the Cul-De-Sac to the north. And then they will move to 13th Street, Adams to Locust, and Locust Avenue from 13th Street to 14th Street. And then they will work their way down to Schmidt Avenue from 14th Street to 17th Street. And then 25th Street from Felker Avenue to Butternut Parkway, and 26th Street, Felker Avenue to Washington Avenue. Now on 26th Street, the water utility is planning to replace water main on 26th Street from the intersection of Maywood Avenue all the way to Washington Avenue. They will be doing this before our street crews do get in and do any work on this project. Then we have a couple alley projects. The first one being Central Avenue to Maple Avenue, Blodgett Street to Cleveland Street. And in these projects, we will actually mill 2 inches of the existing asphalt on the alleys off and then replace the asphalt. The second alley project is bounded by Central Avenue and Maple Avenue, Daggy Street to Edison Street. Then we have Cleveland, Apple Avenue to Palmetto Avenue, and Apple Avenue from Daggy Street to Cleveland Street. This project will be taking place later this summer, but we have just been notified by the We Energies that they want to get in before we start any of our work and replace the gas mains on this project. From there, they're going to go to Hume Avenue, Blodgett Street to Fillmore Street. And the typical progression of events for these mill and place projects is to start the ditching and under drain installation. And what we do is we put under drain typically about 1 foot below the bottom of the ditch bottom. And with that under drain, we can connect sump pumps to that. It'll help keep the ditches drier. Curb stops, Marshfield utility curb stop rules state that the curb box belongs to the property owner. And if the curb box is higher than the ditch, it's up to the homeowner to make adjustments to the height if they so choose. If the street division does damage any curb boxes while doing our work, we will repair it. 26th Street, curb stops will be installed where there are none. When under drain is finished, we do allow, again, some pump drains to be connected to our under drain system, but we can't allow downspouts or yard drains to be connected because these do carry debris and other materials with it. And these materials will then plug up the under drain system and cause it to fail prematurely. Following the ditching work, we'll begin pulverizing, and what they basically have is a piece of equipment that looks just like this that they run through, and they'll actually grind the existing asphalt pavement into the original granular subbase. From that, we get a stronger base out of it because there's still oils available in that asphalt pavement. They'll compact that surface. You can drive around the equipment while they're doing this. And you can, they'll roll it probably right afterwards and do a little bit of blading, and then it'll be drivable immediately after pulverizing. Again, they start grading and compacting afterwards. After they've done the fine grading for these projects, they'll adjust and raise the manholes to the new elevation of the forthcoming street and put any adjusting rings or protections for the sanitary sewer manholes for water infiltration and such on those. Then it's waiting for the asphalt paving crew to come and put down the asphalt pavement. Generally, when this is done, we like to have vehicles stay off of it for at least 24 hours so that it has a chance to cool down, and we really reduce the amount of marring that takes place by waiting that 24 hours. And then after everything is said and done, there's a shouldering process. With the shouldering machine, we use recycled asphalt from other projects we've had, and then we find that this works better than just throwing down gravel. It kind of holds in place much better. The construction schedule for most of these projects is very fluid. Kurt Borenbach, the assistant street superintendent, is the person that has all the answers for structure for the schedule for all these mill in place projects, as he's the one that does all the coordination for it. First, you'll see the ditching and under drain, pulverizing, adjustment of manholes, and then preparation for paving, shouldering, and then both the paving and pulverizing are based upon the availability of equipment from the asphalt paving contractor. We typically only know about 1 to 2 weeks ahead of time for their schedule, and even their schedule can be disrupted very easily if it rains. The street division does like to put out door hangers to notify residents of forthcoming work, such as the milling and the paving operations. So the sequence of events, the adoption of the budget was done in November. We began survey in August and September. We had our initial PIM in February. Preliminary resolutions were completed in January. Mailed the special assessments here this last month, which include the notice of public hearing, installment assessment notice, report of the city engineer, and the Schedule D, including the estimated special assessments. Now we're having our second PIM for these, and we'll have final plan review. Since we don't have the plans or we're not having a public meeting, I will put the plans online. And if you have questions on specific projects or specific to your property, we invite you to give us a call, and I will put you in contact with the designer for that project. So what happens after we're completed with the project, we create the final assessments sometime around next January and mail final assessments in 2021. Some of the things we like to know is whether or not you or a neighbor have access considerations we need to be aware of. We like to be as accommodating as possible with these projects. So when they're doing the ditching and they pull out the culvert and put the under drain in a typical driveway, you're typically out of access for about 4 hours for your driveway. And then when the paving takes place, access is disrupted for approximately 24 hours. How services are affected during construction: the post office will continue to providing mail service as normal. Trash and recyclable garbage service will be provided as normal. If there is a disruption, please contact our street division. and they'll work with advanced disposal to address any disruptions. Water, the service will not be affected during construction, but on 26th Street, a short service disruptions can be expected for curb stop installations as necessary, as well as putting the temporary water system in as they replace the water main on that street. Sanitary sewer service will not be affected during construction. If you have had issues with your sanitary sewer lateral, this would be appropriate time to make repairs necessary to the prior final paving. And I will go through some of the sanitary sewer service lateral replacement program that the city has. Parking, access to your driveway for the Mill and Place project is only disrupted when resetting and replacing the driveway culvert, while the placement of asphalt pavement, allowing the asphalt pavement to cool properly helps prevent marring and ruts. And emergency services are made aware of our projects continually, and they know of the road closures and construction sites where they may have limited or reduced access. So how do you prepare for our projects? You can begin financial planning for the special assessment, coordinate landscaping or driveway replacement and other construction plans you may have. And now would be an opportune time to lengthen a driveway culvert for the construction process. Please note the maximum length allowed by city policy is 40 feet. And then ask us any questions that you may have or concerns that you may have. Funding. Pulverizing and paving are accessible items on these Mill and Place programs. Assessments are based upon the ordinances of the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 share, where the cost of pulverizing and asphalt paving is assessed to the homeowners on one side at a third of the value, the assessed to the other side for a third of the value, and then the other third is covered by general tax dollars. Driveway aprons are accessible, and they are paved as follows. Driveway aprons will be restored in asphalt. Asphalt aprons get restored in asphalt. Concrete or brick paver aprons are also restored in asphalt unless a homeowner decides that they feel that they want to do that outside of the project. Please note that special end wall treatments are not replaced. It is the responsibility of the property owner to remove and replace these end wall structures on their own. And existing driveway aprons are graded and a credit is applied towards new asphalt. Gravel driveway are considered poor and no credit is given. Asphalt that is cracked is considered average at a 50% credit. Asphalt that has no cracks or in very good condition gets an 80% credit. And new asphalt, if you have a receipt that you've done your driveway within the last year or so, we'll give 100% credit. Ditching is not accessible, and this includes the installation of the underdrain system. Culverts are the responsibility of the property owner, and the cost associated with lengthening or replacing the specific culvert type is accessible. In some instances, if the culvert has no rust holes or is in fairly new, replacement may not be necessary. The city will be supplying the replacement culverts for these Mill and Place projects. The cost for the culverts has been added to the estimated special assessments. And if the culvert does not require replacement, the cost for the culvert will be removed from the final assessment. Culverts will typically be HDPE or dual wall black plastic. If the homeowner requests a metal culvert pipe, just please give us a call or written request and we'll make the proper arrangements. This is what a dual wall HDPE pipe looks like. Even when you put these in, because we are only putting about 4 to 6 inches of cover over the top of these pipes, you will typically get a reflective crack that does show up over the top of these plastic culverts. We have been able to reduce some of that with the use of underdrain because we've reduced the amount of frost heave that takes place, but there's still, these pipes do flex a little bit. Galvanized corrugated metal culvert pipes or aluminum culvert pipes look like this. And sanitary sewer lateral replacement policy. Now would be a good time to review the condition of your sanitary sewer lateral. The City of Marshfield wastewater treatment plant will take and televise your lateral at no cost to you so that you can see what your current condition of your lateral is. If you've ever had root problems in the past, they will need to have these removed before televising can be effective. Addressing your sanitary sewer lateral now can save a road cut in the future, which in turn helps with the longevity of the new roadway. The city has implemented an incentive for sanitary sewer lateral replacements, and I'll go through this in more detail further on in my PowerPoint presentation. To schedule a televising, please contact the Marshfield Wastewater Treatment Plant at 715-486-2007. With the letters and information you receive, you should have received a copy of our sanitary sewer lateral replacement incentive program. I won't go through these two, but basically they come in and they can televise from inside the house and give you a condition report. So we are not planning to replace any sanitary sewer laterals on this project or any of these projects, but if a homeowner does decide to replace their sanitary sewer lateral from their basement to the main, the city will issue a check as part of our incentive prior to paving of $1,000. In some instances, if your home has a lead water service, you can also work with the Marshfield Water Utility to have them replace your lead water service. So with this special assessments, there's several payment options. The estimated special assessments have been calculated and mailed. Final assessments, again, do not get calculated until 2021 and are mailed out in March of 2021. And that's based upon what we actually use out in the field. In most instances, we want to give the estimates are based on a worst case scenario. And so we are giving a little bit inflated value with those estimated special assessments. So the payment options, when you do receive the final payment, is you can pay the entire amount in 60 days from the date delivered. And again, this does not occur until 2021. For those at 500 or less, the option you have is 1 year to pay it with your taxes. If it's 501 to $5,000, 10 years, and $5,001 and greater is 20 years. Assessments can be placed on the tax roll at the time frame noted above. Interest will be charged per the Common Council, typically 1.5% over the interest rate for that year's borrowing, which this year has been set at 4.6% for 2020 projects. The installment assessment notice that you received will have the specific information about that interest rate. So how do we calculate special assessments? Well, the frontage is an actual measurement of the front of the parcel. Sitage is on a corner parcel lot is prorated for 50% for front foot rate for residential properties and 75% the front foot rate for all of their uses. The culvert is the actual cost of culvert used, and that'll be assessed to property owners. So in this example, we have a property that's on a corner lot, and if we assume that both the front and side are being paved adjacent to, we have a frontage of 110 feet, and if we assume $15 per linear foot, that's $1,650 for the frontage. The sitage on this parcel is 130 linear feet, and if we assume $15 per linear foot times the 50% rate, that's $975. And a 12-inch culvert, being 30 feet long, estimated at about $12 a linear foot, is about $360. So in this instance, the estimated or total special assessment for this street work would total about $2,985. And that's assuming a $15 per linear foot assessment rate. Now, on cul-de-sacs, assessments are calculated different than regular street. Per the City of Marshfield Municipal Code 13-96, cul-de-sacs are typically based upon an equivalent frontage and sitage, and this is calculated as follows. In this example, a typical lot from a neighborhood is selected in this example. So in this instance, lot 16 has a width of 106 feet and a depth of 170 feet, which equals 18,020 square feet. When we try to calculate lots that are in a cul-de-sac, like for example, lot 14 is actually 25,706 square feet. So if we divide it by that 170 foot of depth, it equals 151.22 for the equivalent frontage. In lot 15, and then in lot 14, that's versus what the measured frontage is actually 51.83. In lot 15, we have 14,900 square feet, and you divide that by the 170 feet of depth, you get an equivalent frontage of 87.64 feet, where their current frontage measures to be 114.65. So it's basically relating the assessment due to the size of the lot to make it comparable for all properties involved. Driveways are assessed as follows. Let's say that in this example, we have an existing driveway that's 25 square yards in average condition. So 25 square yards at $30 per square yard is $750. We apply an average credit of 0.5, so $375 for the assessment on this apron. We'll assume that in this instance, the homeowner wanted to widen it another 5 square yards. That new 5 square yards is then assessed at the full rate. And in this instance, it is an extra $150. So the 375 plus 150 equals 525 for the final apron cost. And this is just assuming an asphalt rate of $30 per square yard. Taking the entire project cost from the previous page and the final assessments for this parcel would be a frontage of $1,650 with signage at $975, a culvert at $360, and an apron at $525 for a total special assessment of $3,510. So how can you give input and stay informed? Well, first you can drop me an email, tom@ci.marshfield.wi.us. You can give us a call in our office from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at 715-486-2034. You can stop by the engineering division at 207 West 6th Street or the street division at 407 West 2nd Street. Or you can visit our website at ci.marshfield.wi.us. As plans are completed, we will be placing them on our website for private viewing. This PowerPoint will also be placed on the engineering division webpage for your convenience, along with access to the recorded meeting. So basically, thank you for attending, and we're opening up for any questions for anyone that's on the phone. If anyone did attend via visiting us, I will be up after this is over with and meet with you personally. Thank you again for attending and for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to give me or any of my staff a call. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to give me or any of my staff a call. Thank you.
Tom, I did transfer 2 individuals in that may have questions, and I got another one calling.
Okay. All right, did anyone have a question?
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question.
Sure.
I live on Mulberry Avenue.
Yes.
Now, in 2017, we had the ditch work done and the drainage pipe underneath the ditch, and we had a culvert that was in good shape, but we did have to add a extension to it.
Okay.
And then we had the end of the driveway retarred.
Okay.
The apron retarred. And I'm wondering, are we going to have to repeat all of that?
Well, that's a very good question. We don't have the plans 100% complete for that project. And if they don't have to redo the culvert or the underdrain, it might be a situation where we just do a shorter connection and not have to take all of it out. But you've got to understand the new road is going to be another 3 inches taller or higher than what's existing. So we do need to blend it back into the existing driveway.
That's what I wondered about. Okay.
But we want to
Okay,
make sure
3 inches
it's done
higher.
looks right for you.
Actually, that might work better for us because our driveway is very steep. That'll make it a little less steep.
Okay. So when those plans are done, I know that the engineer I have working on them is about 80% complete right now, and should have those done probably later next week. So if you want to give us a call, I can have you talk to him personally, and you can kind of go through those details.
And who is it that I would call?
This is Tom Turchi with the engineering division.
Okay.
I'll transfer you to the engineer I have working on it.
Okay.
So is there anything
Hello?
else I can help you with?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, I have a question about, I know that you mentioned, I heard the other caller, you don't have the design plans all done, but on the estimated assessment that I received, I live in East Cleveland, it calculates the size of the asphalt driveway apron. I was wondering how that was calculated as far as square yards. I mean, did someone come and measure, or how do I?
He measured, I know that that was designed by one of my other staff, and he basically measured it using the aerial photo. So we go from the property line out to the edge of the street.
Okay. I'm the one that spoke to you before about the concrete drive on East Cleveland. And the person that I've had a couple estimates done on it, and they weren't going up for the same amount of square feet, or square yards, I should say. You're way above the, actually what I would consider the apron.
Okay, and that might be just based upon the way he measured it. I prefer to take and subtract that when it comes time to actually doing the final assessments. Mm-hmm. So I did not do the measurements for that, but I'm pretty sure that he was probably being a little bit more generous just based upon the aerial photo.
Okay. But no, I'm also not going to replace an asphalt. I'm the one that's going to do concrete. So I guess that's what I was curious about, because when I got an estimate for concrete, it was like 10 square yards less than what this is. So I kind of need to, when the design is done, is there someone that can tell me for sure? Because I need to make plans.
The design for Cleveland and Apple was actually finished this morning.
Okay.
So I do have a copy on my computer. I can't open it up.
That's fine.
This right now. But if you'd be willing to give me a call tomorrow, I'd be more than happy to go through it in more greater detail.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I would like to thank everyone that attended online, and I will be heading upstairs in a few minutes to assist anyone that came in person. Thank you.